Now to a developing story from across the pond. Liz Truss, who took over as the UK's Prime Minister 6 weeks ago, announced her resignation yesterday. She now goes down in history as the shortest serving leader of the British government. So what happened and what's next? Joining us now is Dr. Glen Duerr, a UK native and a professor of international studies at Cedarville University. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We've got a lot to fit in here. Let's start with the build-up to this moment. What has transpired in the last 6 weeks?
The Conservative Party has been in since 2010, tried to solve Brexit, and while they hold a very large majority in the House of Commons, there are deep divisions within the political party on which way to go. Kind of a stronger sense of tax cuts, or do you kind of hedge to the middle of the political spectrum? And that's where Liz Truss found herself when she took over from Boris Johnson about 6 weeks ago. Tried to put in very significant tax cuts and then reversed her position on it. So not only did she alienate her major supporters, but didn't get any encouragement from her detractors. And so we saw a number of high-profile resignations, and then very surprisingly, the resignation of the Prime Minister in a record low tenure.
Looking forward, is there any indication who might be favored for this role next? Also, what does that process look like to appoint another Prime Minister?
It's going to be much quicker than last time. We will know by next Friday is what we're promised as to the who will be the next Prime Minister. It looks like 3 names are going to go forward. One is Rishi Sunak, who came in second last time to Liz Truss, and he is probably going to take the lead early on. Penny Mordaunt is the second one. She was the big surprise in the last leadership race last time. And then Boris Johnson could also come back as Prime Minister. That's entirely possible. And so those 3 candidates will have to try and get the support of at least 100 members of Parliament in the United Kingdom. If they can do that, they can make it to a round of voting. It'll be whittled down to 2, and then there'll be an online vote for around 200,000 Conservative Party members in the United Kingdom. And I've been told we'll know by next Friday as to who will be the leader of the party and the next Prime Minister.
As you look at those 3 people that you just named, are there lessons to be learned here from what just happened?
Absolutely, in terms of how policies are rolled out. The good news is I think all 3 are likely to be very, very pro-American, very close to the United States in terms of the special relationship. But it's going to take someone with a steady hand, someone with a lot of experience. This is a party with a deep bench, so there are a lot of people that do know how government works. But at the same time, it's a party that finds itself losing in the polls by about 30%. They don't have to call another general election until January of 2025, but there will be pressure to do so when the next Prime Minister is named.
About 30 seconds left, and you touched on it just a little bit there, but what does something like this do to the overall stability of the country? How does it impact the political landscape there?
That's a very important question because there are real challenges. Inflation is higher in the United Kingdom than it is here in the United States, not by much, but by a little bit. And then the big issue is heating, especially in the winter. The Ukraine war is certainly having a significant challenge with Russia's invasion there. And so a lot of people are just wondering about employment, managing to pay their bills and things of that nature. And the Conservative Party will have to figure out ways of delivering for the people if they're to win the next election.
Dr. Glen Duerr, a UK native and professor of international studies at Cedarville University, essentially the perfect person to talk to about this. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.